Hey everyone, I'm Benjamin Bryant from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers here in Coffs Harbour, and I have with me Heather McKinnon, my business partner. Hello Heather.
Happy New Year, Benjamin.
Happy New Year. We are here to launch episode 50. You heard that right. 50. 50. That is crazy, Heather.
It's, oh man, how have we done that? I don't know.
So it's a new year, we've got the energy, we can push through. But I just wanted to take a moment to go back, I guess, to our original intention about the show is trying to get some free information out there for people to help them make some informed decisions. And I think with 50 episodes, I think we've achieved that. We've set out what we, achieved what we set out.
And you look back and the willingness of really busy people to contribute has just been fantastic. I'm so honoured that they chose to do it.
We certainly have some experts. And this episode is no different. We have retired Judge Colin Forrest, who of course you know Colin quite well, don't you, Heather?
When you get to my age, it's funny to look back. So Colin Forrest and I both grew up in Tamworth. And Colin went to Tamworth High and I went to the opposition, Oxley High. Ooh. And we used to debate each other. And guess what? Our team used to beat them. It was excellent.
Anyway, so he got the upper hand because he had to hand out some judgments. I think about 500 judgments I think he did in the end before he retired, and then he became now a very successful arbitrator and mediator. And so that's what we spoke to him about. Not about being a judge, but about his arbitration and mediation practice, and more importantly we honed in on how we can try and address power imbalances, because it's there. It's very common to have power imbalances, to have a superior party and an inferior party, the dynamics of the relationship, or the financial control or emotional control, whatever the case may be. Relationships are very complicated, and with the family law courts, there's essentially one system, so one size fits all approach. So there needs to be little, nuances along the way to address some particular issues, such as a power imbalance. Colin was telling us about he always starts after a pre-intake checklist, so he gets an idea of the background of the parties. He starts the parties off with separate rooms to make sure they're comfortable, and preferably with their lawyer to know that they're good to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what I found most fascinating, which is what I intuitively thought, is the bulk of his mediations are done as shuttles. Yeah. The couples never get together. Mm-hmm. And certainly the research suggests that's probably the way to go, because those power imbalances create really difficult dynamics if people are in the same room or are viewing each other on the screen.
Of course.
So it was really interesting to hear him say those shuttle mediations where people never see each other are very successful and have very high settlement rates.
And also what I found really interesting going off the back of that, Heather, is also we had COVID, everything exploded, but there were some real silver linings there. So the family law system, inside and outside the court, had to get up with the times. Yeah. And so everything was done by Zoom or Teams or whatever you call it, some video platform, which of course meant you were never in the room. Sometimes you weren't even in the same room as your client, or the client with the lawyer and the mediator. There was all different rooms happening. And we thought, it's going to be so difficult, it's not going to be as successful, it's going to be really hard to traverse. It was the exact opposite. Everyone's safe, everyone's comfortable, and the success rate is phenomenal. It didn't stop us at all.
No, and look, we were talking this morning about, what happened in the Middle East with the mediators in Gaza and Israel, and it's the same thing. When the ceasefire's negotiated, you get people out of flight and fight, you get them to breathe and to stop, and then you've got a chance of working on a solution. While other people are hyper-aroused because they're frightened to be physically near someone, you're never going to get them into a state where they're calm enough to think properly.
And I think also it's really interesting with COVID, well, not with COVID, but with the online setting, is that it's given us more options. Before, like you said, it was shuttle, so you're either in the room together with your ex or you're out of the room in separate rooms. But with COVID, you're obviously in separate rooms, but if the lawyer and the client's physically in the same room, you get to choose who's on the camera, when you're on mute, when you're not on mute, when your video is being shown, what is being shown at that time, whether it's in a joint room, whether the other party's on camera, on mute, or whatever. So there's all these other options available to make sure people, are comfortable and safe.
Yeah, and people really worry about if they've been in a controlled situation, whether it's sensible to mediate. But what I encourage clients to do is to use it as a test run, because if you don't settle, the next time you're seeing each other is in a courtroom at a trial, and that's way ratcheted up in terms of stress.
Of course, and by mediations, it is uncomfortable. You're supposed to feel uncomfortable. We're not talking about nice things a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's that when you feel fearful, do you mean that's the difference? But like you said, do you mean the mediation process can be safe, but also very empowering. Do you know what I mean? To be exposed in that way can be very empowering for even a victim of domestic violence. So.
And to have someone like Colin, who spent years as a judge in the family court, to spend time with people and to respect their experiences is very empowering.
Absolutely. Well, that's enough from us. To listen to the full podcast of episode 50 with Colin Forrest, mediations, arbitrations and power imbalances, head to brianmckinnon.com.au or wherever you get your podcasts.